All right, so if you've spent any time at all building with powerful language models, the big ones like GPT-4 or Llama 3, you have absolutely bumped into these four names: LangChain, LangGraph, LangFlow, and LangSmith. They're everywhere. But what do they actually do? How are they different? And most importantly, which one is the right one for your project? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. Let's dive in and demystify this whole ecosystem so you can confidently grab the right tool for your next big idea. Because let's be real, building a truly powerful AI app is way more than just a single API call. It's this whole complex dance of managing prompts, hooking into live data, making sure your app actually remembers past conversations, all while orchestrating some pretty intricate logic. Without the right tools, your project can spiral into a tangled mess of code fast. And that is the exact problem this whole suite of tools was designed to solve. Think of each one as a specialized instrument in your toolkit, built for a specific part of your development journey. The real trick is just knowing which one to pick up and when. So, let's get into it. First up, we've got the foundation of everything, LangChain. The best way to think about this is as your main workbench. It's the open source framework where you're going to build the fundamental logic for pretty much any application you can dream up that's powered by a language model. To really get why LangChain is such a game changer, just picture the alternative for a second. Without it, you are drowning in boilerplate code. You're manually handling every API call, building memory systems from the ground up, and scripting every single move an agent makes. It's a ton of work. LangChain just replaces all of that with these elegant, pre-built, reusable components. It literally transforms a potential spaghetti code nightmare into a clean, structured, and incredibly powerful workflow. So at its core, LangChain is really about providing the essential building blocks. It lets you create applications that are context-aware, that can reason about things, and that can connect to the outside world for live information. It's the toolbox that truly makes sophisticated AI development accessible to everyone, not just huge tech companies. So what's actually in this toolbox? Well, you get support for basically any LLM you want to use. You get flexible prompt templates, which are crucial, and then you get the real heart of the framework, chains. A chain is just a sequence of actions. For example, it might take a user's question, go fetch a relevant document, and then feed both of those things to the LLM to get an answer. It's this ability to chain tasks together that is just so incredibly powerful. And when you add in data indexes, conversation memory, and intelligent agents, you've got everything you need to build something amazing. Okay, so LangChain is like your assembly line. But what happens when a simple, straight assembly line just isn't enough? What if you need your AI agents to actually collaborate, to argue, to make decisions together? Well, for that, you need LangGraph. This is the control tower for your advanced multi-agent systems. See, LangChain is perfect for linear stuff. Do step A, then step B, then step C. Easy. But what if you need a loop? Imagine you're building an AI research team. You have a researcher agent that finds some data. It passes it to a critic agent. The critic checks for errors and says, nope, this isn't good enough, and sends it back to the researcher for another try. That back and forth, that ability to cycle and iterate until the job is done right, that's what LangGraph makes possible. So how does it work? LangGraph basically introduces a graph structure with three key ideas. First, you have a shared state, which is just a snapshot of all the data that every agent can see and change. Second, you have nodes, which are the individual actions or tools an agent can use. And third, and this is the magic part, you have edges, which are the pathways between nodes. This lets an agent at one node make a decision about which node to go to next, creating those powerful loops and really complex collaborative conversations between agents. Now, what if you're not ready to dive deep into code? What if you just want to sketch out an idea and see if it works fast? For that, we turn to the visual prototyper of the ecosystem, LangFlow. Think of it like a drag and drop flowchart builder, but where every single box is a powerful AI component. At its heart, LangFlow is basically a user interface that sits right on top of LangChain. It gives you this visual canvas where you can play around with all the components we just talked about, chains, agents, memory, all of it, by just dragging and connecting them together. No code required. The whole idea here is speed and making this stuff accessible. You literally drag a model onto the screen, drop in a prompt, connect it to a tool, and boom, you have a working prototype. It is by far the fastest way to go from a back-of-the-napkin idea to a functional AI workflow. We're talking minutes, not hours or days. So, when do you actually use LangFlow? Well, it's absolutely perfect for rapid prototyping, for building out a quick minimum viable product to show your team or investors, or for situations where not everyone on the team is a hardcore coder.
but here's the key thing to remember. Think of this as your sketchbook, not the final oil painting. It's designed for quick experiments, not for running your final mission-critical production scale application.
All right, so you've used LangFlow to prototype your idea, you've used LangChain to build it, and now it's time to release it into the wild. This is where our final and maybe most critical tool comes in, LangSmith. This is the production guardian, the tool that makes sure your application is actually ready for prime time. LangSmith is all about one thing, observability. It gives you a complete top-to-bottom dashboard for your app's health. You can debug, test, evaluate, and monitor everything. And what's really cool is that it works with any LLM framework, not just LangChain. It gives you these deep insights into how your application is actually performing for real users. I mean, seriously, deploying an LLM app without something like this is like flying an airplane completely blind. Are you accidentally blowing your budget on token costs? Where are the bottlenecks that are making your app slow? What's your actual error rate in the real world? Without LangSmith, you're just guessing. LangSmith turns on all the lights, making every single one of those critical metrics visible and traceable. It's the difference between hope and engineering. So let's pull this all together. It's really important to see that these aren't competing tools fighting for your attention. They're a complementary suite. They're designed to work together to support you at every single stage of building a powerful AI application. So here it is, your cheat sheet for the whole Lang ecosystem. You're going to use LangChain as that foundational framework to build your core application logic. You'll reach for LangGraph when you need to create those really complex, cyclical, multi-agent systems. You'll grab LangFlow when you want to visually design and test ideas super quickly. And finally, you will integrate LangSmith to monitor, debug, and harden your app for production. So there you have it. From the foundational framework of LangChain to the collaborative power of LangGraph, from the lightning-fast prototyping of LangFlow to the production-grade confidence you get with LangSmith, you now have the complete toolkit in your hands.